Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Execute Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to have a wonderful Philly entrepreneur, Nadira Winters. She's going to be talking about her wonderful clothing line, Hijabified clothing line. It's an incredible line. She's going to talk to you about the good, bad, and ugly of running and starting your own clothing business. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode 9 of the Execute Podcast with Mr. Results. And we have the wonderful, amazing Miss Winters. Thank you so much for coming out today. I appreciate you.
Me.
No problem. Coming in on this cold day in Philly.
I know. And I just got off work.
And you just got off work and came straight here. So I always tell people the greatest thing they can give you is their time because it's your most valuable asset. So I always thank you so much for that.
No problem.
So you were on the very short list of season 1. After we met in Memphis, I was like, she's got to come on the show. CEO of Hijabified clothing line here in Philly. So after we left Memphis, I didn't know much about your brand.
Right.
So I go on your Instagram and Kevin was like, you don't know who that is? And I was like, no, I didn't know who it is. So he's in the mix. He's in everything. So I appreciate you once again for coming out. So let's get to it. This podcast, we talk about entrepreneurs, their journeys, because there's some people that are listening to us, they trying to figure out what they want to do. So I have different people come out. So I want to talk to you about your journey. So let's talk about your clothing line, how it started, how long ago it started, what was the dream, what sparked it, and then we'll go into like the good, bad, and ugly of running a clothing business. So how did it start?
So it started in 2016. I actually just was sitting around and I was like, I gotta figure something out.
Right.
And I just came up with this name. It's crazy because the name is not even the name. It's not even like a real name.
So Hijabified is made up.
It's made up.
Wow.
It's not a word.
This was gonna be like my 14th question. So what does that mean?
It's not a word.
It's not a word.
So I made the word up and I made the definition up. So the definition is stylishly covered.
Okay.
So it's like crazy. It really
that
is
crazy. Dope.
It's crazy. And to see people wearing it now is like...
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, something in your head
it's crazy.
That you visualize? You see it everywhere now. It's crazy.
And now I just see it. And it's like, it's so humbling. Like, I see it and I just be like, I made that word up and y'all wearing it.
Because I said so.
Yeah.
I love it. You spoke life into it. And that's awesome. So Hijabified came out of nowhere in a dream and a vision.
Yep.
It was placed in your head.
Yes, in 2016. So I told my mom, like, Mom, I wanna start with T-shirts. So I started with T-shirts, and it was the worst. Like, it didn't do nothing. I sold one T-shirt, and that was to my mom.
Really?
So you can imagine like how depressing that was.
Right.
So after that, it was more so like I don't know. I don't want to do it no more. Like, it's not going to sell. I don't want to do it. It's not going to work. Mm-hmm. And then in like 2000, maybe like 18, I came back out with more T-shirts, but I did Mommy and Me T-shirts. So I did women T-shirts and then like little girl T-shirts. And that did kind of way better than...
Okay. So you took a 2-year hiatus.
Yeah.
Because you sold one T-shirt.
Because I sold one T-shirt.
All right, so everyone that's listening, you hear that? One T-shirt.
One T-shirt.
Took it to you. Was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this.
Right.
But something was placed in your head, and you wasn't. Yeah. So what made you get back to it?
Because it was when I was younger. I was the type of person like I would make stuff, like make clothes, like put this on that, and I just was all over the place when I was younger, and I always had this vision like I want to have my own clothing line or I want to do something that's mine.
Right.
And once I started it. And my mom, she always, you know how moms is, like, you'll be all right. Like, you keep going.
You keep going.
That's how moms is,
right?
So eventually I started back again. And this time I didn't quit. It didn't do good that time either. Like, it was okay, but it didn't do good. Mm-hmm. But I still didn't quit.
Got you.
So now I'm here with you.
And now you're here with me. And my brother telling me about you. So it started in 2016, so 2018 you picked up again, right?
2018 I did T-shirts again. Then in like 2000, it probably was 18 too, I was introduced to manufacturing.
Right.
So I found a manufacturer in China and I did a whole collection. a collection of clothes,
right.
modesty clothing, and that didn't do good either.
Okay.
So I'm borrowing money from here, My mom didn't let me borrow money. I'm not paying this, not paying that, just to get this dream up. And I wound up spending all this money on a manufacturer, like $10,000-$15,000 of money that I didn't have. Got all these clothes. China sizing is different, so everything was small, petite.
But aren't they? Didn't they know they was producing for American clients, or
they know? But
you
it's
still
you still gotta make sure all that stuff is the way you want it to be.
Okay, you have to make that clear to them.
So you get samples, right? So you get samples made, and the samples that I got made, they were cool. But when I did the photo shoot, they were smaller. People that did the photo shoot. Gotcha. So I said, okay, it's good.
It's good.
But once it came, it wasn't good.
It wasn't good. You had a lot of unhappy cousins?
Had a lot of clothes that nobody really could fit. Like if you wasn't small, if you didn't have like a figure really, you was the only ones that could fit it.
Yeah, and that wasn't your demographic?
And that was, no. Nah. So I still have a lot of those clothes now. It's crazy. Yes.
You still have those from years ago?
Yes.
They still can't get rid of that inventory.
Nope.
That's funny.
It's crazy. So I wasted all that money and all that time. Well, it wasn't a waste. It was more so like a lesson.
Tuition. I tell people that, it's tuition. You learn it. You learn it.
So, yeah.
So China didn't work.
Didn't work.
So now you offline, you're talking about you with a new manufacturer now in Turkey. So tell us what that journey was, how you found them.
So
and why this works better.
So on Instagram, I don't know, a lot of people that I follow is like a lot of business people. I follow a whole lot of manufacturers. Like I'll put in the hashtag like manufacturers, and I find manufacturers, and I just follow them. So I wound up following this manufacturer that did scarves.
Okay.
So that's how I got into the lane of scarves. I had already started doing scarves, but they were more so like I would go down 52nd Street and I would get like wholesale regular scarves, and then I would go to like somebody to print them, and it just was hijabified on it, but it was just printed.
Printed, wasn't embroidered.
It wasn't embroidery.
Right.
So that's how you know, like when you start something, like if you would look at the Shaylas that I had before, like how it grew to what it is now, it's like crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Do you still have those pieces?
I still have people that have them, and it's like, y'all still have them. They're like, yeah, these the
with
first
the printed ones on them?
Printed.
They probably dry cleaning them. Yep, taking care of them. That's what's up. So you liking this new manufacturer now in Turkey?
Yes, I love the manufacturer in Turkey. So that's the manufacturer I have been using for the last, year and a half now?
Okay.
So, I love the manufacturer. I found them on Instagram.
And I like the hustle and the mindset. I gotta go find them.
Yeah.
So you hashtag manufacturer, and then you went and found them.
Yep.
Did your research.
Did my research.
What made you pick them though? Because I'm pretty sure a million came up.
Right. So I seen that they were Muslim.
Okay.
So I know a lot of times when dealing with, well, maybe not a lot of times, but I just figured that they Muslim, so they'll know exactly what I'm looking for.
Got you.
So I wound up just getting a sample made.
Okay.
That's the best thing to do. Just get samples made before you just jump out there and just be like, okay, I want all of this, I want all of that. So I got a sample made, which was a Shayla just like this, a black and white one, and I fell in love with it.
Got you.
And you know how you always be like, you have to find your lane?
Right.
Like, I feel like this was my lane. Like, the clothing, all that stuff before wasn't my lane because it didn't work. Then once I got the Shaylas, like, this is my lane. This is what's working for me, so this is what I'm going to stick to.
Boom.
And that's what I've been sticking to.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
So T-shirts was out the door.
Yeah.
And Shayla's became your thing.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that part.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. That's really good. So let's talk about the people who want to start a T-shirt line or clothing line. What's one of the most important lessons you learned in the infancy process of starting your journey?
So I realized that just the clothing line, like I said, you have to find your lane. you have to do what works for you, because everything is not going to work. I feel like everything is not going to work. Everything is not your lane. So once you find your lane, you stick to it. And don't quit. It's going to be a whole bunch of fees. Like we was talking about the shipping fee.
Yes.
Like when you go through manufacturing, shipping is crazy.
Tell them the scary numbers.
So it depends on the weight. So I ship through DHL.
Right.
I feel like they're faster than anybody else. So I ship through DHL. And the shipping for, say you get like 20, 30 boxes. The shipping around $3,000 to $4,000 just for shipping it, to get it from Turkey or wherever you get it from, to the United States. Then before it gets to you, you have to pay import-export fees, which is never like $2,000.
So we had $6,000 and you didn't make $1 yet.
And I didn't even make $1 yet.
You didn't make $1 yet. Hasn't
Not
been
even
embroidered yet.
including the $20,000 or $30,000 you have to send to the manufacturer to get the stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you in 30 plus the fees. We at 36. You still haven't made anything yet. Has it been embroidered yet?
Yes.
It's been embroidered at least.
Is included.
All right. So where do you keep all this stuff?
So all this stuff is at my store.
Okay.
Before I got the store, which was August, all this stuff used to be in my apartment.
Okay. So 30,000 worth of stuff in your apartment.
In my apartment.
Okay, this is the
true
grind.
So now you see why I had to finally get a space to hold it. Yeah, it just became too much. Like it just was stuff everywhere.
I'm gonna ask you a business question, kind of a personal business question. So you have how many pieces is 30,000 pieces?
So probably with the scarves, you probably get like maybe like 700 to 800 scarves.
Okay.
Then you probably get overgarments, which are these. So you probably get like 100 of these. Tunics, you probably get like 150. So it depends on how much you want of everything.
So you almost had 1,000 pieces, 3 SKUs,
right?
3 or 4 SKUs, almost 1,000 pieces. 36 grand in. How many pieces do you have to sell? You think off the top of your head before you broke even?
Before I make my
your 36 back.
Make my 36 back.
There's 1,000 pieces. Rough estimate. Herman, I need to sell at least.
I need at least to sell 500.
500 pieces? So you need to sell half.
At least half.
Just to make the money back.
Just to make the money back. So when you see me stressed out on them days, when you see my face like,
I only sold 300 pieces this month.
I got to get it together. I be stressed out. My mom be like, why are you so stressed out? It's a feeling you get in your stomach just sitting there trying to make your money back.
Right.
After spending all that money.
It's
like, and you never know. Like, I just always tell people, like, Allah can take it from you at any time.
Right.
So it's like you gotta put that work in. You gotta be humble, and you gotta just make sure that you continue to be the person that you always been. And it's like, because anytime it can be snatched away from you.
So in my entrepreneur journey, same thing with me, right? So we do credit repair, we do business credit, we have all these different streams, but there's up and downs with everything. Right. So like last year me and my team, we got into trucking because trucks were moving even though the world was shut down. Because medicine got to come to you, food got to come to you, all this stuff. So you got to diversify because that is stressful.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
We made 20,000 last month and 6,000 this month.
Yeah.
So that's scary. Yeah. So you want to have other things in place, and in the meantime, you got to continue with the grind and hustle. Now, ironically, so I wear different T-shirts, assets only, execute. So what I learned. And I don't have a clothing line, so take this with a grain of salt. I learned that clothes sell really well when there's a story behind it. Right. So you had a story, and then you put it on the right piece of clothing, and then it just right. So you created your own story. Yeah. Right. So I think that's one of the things when it comes to branding. People trying to brand, like, what's the story? What does that mean? Right.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? Right. Like, and you told them an awesome story about that. So that's really, really dope. So. I want to talk about the pandemic, right? Because that affected a lot of businesses. So everybody that was in this hot seat, what did you do? How did you pivot? Like, was last year, everyone that sat here said last year was their greatest year.
How was last year for you? My greatest year.
Wow.
Last year was literally the best year I ever had being Since I started
the
Hijabify.
business. So you sold more than one T-shirt and more than one.
Way more.
Way more. That's good. So what was it? What did you do? What did you pivot? How'd you make this your greatest year ever?
So I think I more so last year. Like I tell people, like it still trips me out, like from where I was at January of last year to where I'm at now. It's like
night and day.
It's night and day. Like it's like crazy. Like I can't even explain it. And I think it's just like when it's your time, it's your time.
What did you do different though? From 2019, what made 2020 special?
So I think I did online. And I use the internet a lot more too.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times everybody being stuck in, so you just take advantage of it. I'm not at work. I ain't doing nothing. I was at home. So it's like you got to figure something out. You got to do something. And I just used the internet to my advantage. And online just went crazy. Yeah.
Really?
Online went crazy.
So you wasn't selling online before? Or
I was selling online. I always had the website. It's crazy because I always had the website. But like I said, it never really did. It never did nothing.
Did nothing.
Like it just was like I was paying for the website, and basically I'm paying money for the website and not making nothing off of it.
Really?
That's how it was. Like that's how bad it was. So.
What was your strongest platform? Is it Twitter? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook?
So
what pushed
Instagram.
Traffic?
Instagram is the strongest platform that I have. I also made a business page.
Okay.
So now I have both. I have a personal page and a business page. I didn't have both at first.
Right.
So
I did the same thing too. I created a business page and the personal page. I showed, it moved people to the business page more where it was just business stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So I definitely did that too. It was one of the best years for me too.
Really?
Because we was all locked up.
Yeah.
So what I did was I did like free content.
Okay.
So all I did was teach.
Right.
Video almost every day.
Right.
And they're like, oh, this guy know what he's talking about. Let me see. If he's giving this for free, well, let me pay him.
Right. Let's imagine what he's going to give me.
Let's imagine if I pay him. So it went crazy there. I hired 4 people last year.
Really?
Yeah, so it went crazy, and then I was able to do other stuff. Like start a podcast.
Yeah.
And a TV show. So I'm really excited about that. In 2021, I hope to be really good for myself and for you also.
Yes.
So we're still early in 2021, right?
Right.
What's next? What are we trying to do next?
So I want to actually get into, I want to do trucking. This is crazy because I already drive a triaxle. I already have a
You do it for a living, right?
So what is the odds of not doing it, right?
Right.
So I think that's what my next thing is, to try to get into buying a truck. I see a lot of people doing it. And I'm like, is it that easy?
I'm not going to say it's that easy, right? But what I will say is that if you have the right team and the right people around you, Yeah.
I think that's what anything, right?
You got right. That's what anything.
Yeah.
Other people have paid the tuition. They'll give you game. Be like, that's what you got to do. Yeah, because you could either be an investor, have somebody else running, you could drive it yourself, or there's so many lanes in that world. And the deeper I got into it, I was like, wow, there's a lot going on here.
Really?
And there's many, many different ways to make money. So absolutely, it's part of the portfolio. So I definitely recommend it to do it. And of course, a lot of people got into it a lot easier with my help because Bella Sloan does business credit.
See? That's what I'm saying. I got to come to you so you could get my business credit together.
Exactly. Get the business credit together and let your money definitely make money. So you want to get in trucking. What else you want to do with the brand, with the business, or is there other business you want to get into too?
So, what's actually my goal with my brand? It's when I started it, I always said that I always it's this fashion week. It's in Dubai.
Okay.
It's called Dubai Modest Fashion Week. And I want to go there so bad.
Oh, when is it?
So it'd be like they have it every year. It already passed this year.
Already?
Already passed this year.
Okay.
So it'd be in like January, February, like March. It'd be, because it's like Dubai. They have them in like different different places, but I always want to just go there. So I think that's my goal, like to get my brand.
So 2022, we're gonna build up the brand in 2021. So how do you get invited? How you get there? Because we out.
So you have to email them.
Yeah.
And they have to really accept you. Like you have to fill out an application and you have to get accepted to go there.
Really?
So that's
everybody
my
just
goal.
can't just pull up.
No, you can't just pull up the Dubai Fashion Week.
Wow.
I know, right?
Dubai Fashion Week in January 2020. So that's what's going to happen. That's what we're doing. Because we're saying it.
That's what we doing then.
That's what we doing.
That's what we doing.
My mentor's in Dubai right now, and
really,
it's dumb. It's like Dubai is like that big trip. Like you
gotta
when
go
you made it.
somewhere.
You know where we going? We're going to Dubai.
We're going to Dubai.
A fashion week. So January 2022. But you said it's in other places also.
Yeah. So they have it in where else do they have it at? Because it's like 3 different places that they have it. I know it's Dubai and it's I don't know where the other 2 at. I don't remember where the other 2 at.
Okay.
But Dubai, that's the goal.
Okay. So back to the clothing route real quick. What is something that, we're not talking about the one T-shirt situation. You running your day-to-day business right now. You're doing it a lot better right now. What's one thing you can teach to upcoming entrepreneurs or people who are trying to start a brand? Like, hey, listen, I do this daily. Like, if you could give them one game, because you learn lessons and they cost you a lot of money, right? What's one thing you can teach them and be like, listen, this is going to save you. This is $10,000 worth of game I'm about to give you right here. Don't do this or do this. What would you tell somebody listening right now?
So when it comes to clothing line, I think the best thing, or it depends on what route you want to go, because a lot of people don't do manufacturers. A lot of people just buy wholesale and they have a person to print it, or they print it themselves. I think if you go through the manufacturer way, I think the best thing to do is do your research. Okay. When I did it, I didn't do research. I didn't know nothing. It was like I just went out there and just did it. Just did it. The first manufacturer I seen, I used them. Like I didn't know nothing though. Right. So I think if I was to help somebody or tell somebody something, it would be to do your research when it comes to manufacturing. When it comes to what you want, the sizing, all that stuff, it'll save you a lot of money. It's just like the sizing of the clothes. If you don't know what you're doing, like you're just gonna have a lot of stuff sitting because it's not made for
your demographic. You gotta know who you're selling to.
You gotta know who you're selling it to.
Okay.
So I think that would save a whole lot of money, a whole lot of mistakes. Okay. So the manufacturing part is the first part that you have to really really have to get down. And then everything else will probably go smoother. Okay. Once you get that part down.
Now, at the level that you are right now, because we're talking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 investments, right? And you didn't get business credit just yet.
No.
So
I'm trying. I'm waiting.
So how did you get investors? I think that's an important game. Like, how did you raise capital for your business without selling percentage? Because I think you own 100% still?
Yeah, I never got an investor.
So how'd you raise that capital? What'd you do?
So like I said, this year was my best year. It's crazy because once I started actually making money, it was coming so fast. Like I would put something online and it would sell out in an hour.
Wow.
So it was like, so it was like crazy. So once that started happening, it was easy for me to just send a manufacturer $20,000, $30,000.
So you was putting the money right back into your business. So I was putting it
right back into my business.
All right.
So that's what I do now still. Like I send a manufacturer the money, and once I make it back, I'll put in another order. Okay. So you gotta really like put money out there to really make money. And right now it's like I'm using my own money, so I don't have no investors or I don't have credit or stuff like that. So
bootstrapped it, did it yourself?
Yep.
Okay, that's a great story.
So yeah,
that's a great story. Everybody sometimes they be struggling.
When I needed an investor, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get one. And now it's like
I know everybody begging.
I'm to the point now, alhamdulillah, that I don't need an investor.
Okay.
So, but when I did need one, I couldn't get one.
So you telling me somebody comes to you right now, I give you $100,000 for 10% of your business on some Shark Tank stuff, right?
Shark Tank.
You gonna be like, no.
I'm be like, okay, we can talk.
We can talk. We can talk.
So,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. So, last question. I ask this question all the time to all my guests. So, Nadira, I'm not gonna ask you how old you are. You're a woman of a certain age, right? I foresee that you're gonna live way past 80, right?
Okay.
So I speak that into your life right now. So you're gonna meet the 80-year-old Nadira Winters, right?
Okay.
What is she gonna say to you when you meet her?
Nobody never asked me that question.
I know, it's a good question. It got you all stuck. What would you like her to say to you? All the work you're putting in right now.
All the work that I'm putting in right now. I want her to say, relax and enjoy life.
Okay.
Relax. Good. Enjoy it.
Good.
Because you done worked your whole life.
Your whole life. You foresee? Yeah. Do you foresee yourself still doing this at 80?
I really don't.
So you're gonna sell this company at some point?
At some point, I just want to live life. Like,
okay.
I just want to enjoy it. Yep. I want to work so hard these years.
That you're young.
That I'm young.
Right.
So once I get older, I can just sit back and relax.
Excellent, excellent.
And enjoy it.
I appreciate you for coming.
Thanks
thank you
for
so much, Miss
having
Winters.
me.
Really, thank you so much. So listen, where can everybody find you? Where can they order this wonderful garb, these clothes? Talk to the people.
So my Instagram is Hijabified Nah. Hijabified is HIJAB IFIED. You can also find online store hijabifiedclothing.com.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So I thank everybody for tuning in today. Ms. Winters, I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Go cop the clothes.
Yes.
Wonderful quality stuff, embroidered, not pressed on.
Not pressed on no more.
She stepped it up a little bit. You have a wonderful year. Be blessed. Be excellent. I'll talk to you guys real soon on the Execute Podcast. Have a great day.